Do you know someone who finds a problem for every solution? Or maybe, if you are honest with yourself, that person is you. We wake up and complain about the weather. We go to work and complain about the traffic. We come home and complain about being tired. Complaining feels like a relief mechanism, like letting steam out of a kettle. But neuroscience tells us a different story. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Every time you complain, you are physically rewiring your brain to see the negative more easily. You are building a highway for misery. Today, we put on our hard hats and enter a foggy, never-ending construction site to meet a man named Ben, who was building a prison out of his own words. Ben was a bricklayer at the Tower of Babel construction site. It was a massive, chaotic project that touched the clouds. The site was always noisy, smelling of wet cement and rusty iron. Ben hated it. He hated the grit in his boots. He hated the wind that bit his face. He hated the weight of the bricks. While other workers were on the 50th floor, silently raising the skyline, Ben was still on the ground floor. He wasn't building, he was broadcasting. "This mortar is too dry." He would shout, "This blueprint makes no sense. Why is the foreman so demanding?" Ben thought he was just observing reality. He didn't realize he was painting it gray. It was noon, the lunch break. The machines stopped their grinding noise. The workers sat on wooden crates and steel beams to eat their sandwiches. Ben found his usual spat and old, weathered wooden crate near the tool shed. He sat down with a heavy sigh. As soon as he sat, a grimace of pain flashed across his clay face. "Ouch," he muttered. A dog was howling in the distance, and Ben sounded just like it. He shifted his weight to the left. "This crate is terrible. It hurts every time I sit here." A younger worker, a quiet boy named Leo, looked at him. "Why don't you sit somewhere else, Ben? There is a bench right there." Ben frowned, offended by the logic. "Why should I move? This crate should be comfortable. The management should provide better seating. It's not my fault the crate is broken." Ben continued to eat his sandwich, wincing in pain with every bite, complaining about the wood, the splinter, and the injustice of it all. He spent his entire break suffering, not because he was trapped, but because he refused to move. Out of the fog emerged Foreman Silas. Silas was a giant of a man. His skin looked like granite, and his hands were the size of shovels. He didn't speak often, but when he did, the ground shook. He had been watching Ben for weeks. He walked over, his shadow covering Ben. "Ben," Silas rumbled, "you have been on this same wall for 3 months. You have laid only 10 bricks. Why?" Ben jumped up, eager to explain. "It's not me, boss. The bricks are uneven. The trowel is rusty, and my back. This crate I sit on is killing my back." Silas looked at the crate. Then he looked at Ben. He reached down with one hand and ripped the top plank off the crate. There, sticking up about an inch, was a sharp, rusty iron nail. "You have been sitting on a nail, Ben," Silas said. Ben looked at the nail. "See, I told you. It's dangerous. Who left this nail here?" Silas shook his head. "The nail is not the problem. You are the problem." Ben was stunned. "Me, I'm the victim here." Silas leaned in close. "Listen to me closely. There is an old story about a dog sitting on a nail, howling in pain. A stranger asks the owner, 'Why doesn't the dog move?' And the owner says, 'Because it doesn't hurt enough.' You are that dog, Ben," Silas continued. "The nail hurts just enough to make you complain, but not enough to make you move. You are comfortable in your misery. If it truly hurt, you would have stood up an hour ago. You love your pain because it gives you an excuse not to build." Ben stood there, the cold wind hitting his face. He looked at the nail. He looked at his unfinished wall. He realized Silas was right. Complaining was his way of procrastinating. As long as he was the victim of the crate, the weather, and the tools, he didn't have to take responsibility for his lack of progress. He was using his words to delay his work. In psychology, this is known as learned helplessness. When we complain without acting, we teach our brains that we have no control. We become passive observers of our own suffering. But there is a cure. It's called radical responsibility. The moment you stop describing the problem and start describing the solution, the nail disappears. Ben looked at Silas. He didn't say a word. He didn't apologize. He didn't make an excuse. He simply picked up his trowel. He scooped up the wet cement. He picked up a brick. He laid it down. Scrape, tap, tap. The sound was solid. It was the sound of action. Silas nodded once, turned around, and walked back into the fog. Ben worked in silence for the rest of the day. His back still hurt from the nail, but his mind was quiet. For the first time, he wasn't fighting the reality. He was shaping it. Are you sitting on a nail right now? Is there a situation in your life, a job, a relationship, a habit that makes you moan and complain every day? Ask yourself the hard question, why haven't I moved? Does it not hurt enough yet? Or are you just scared of standing up? Complaining is passive. Living is active. You cannot build a tower with complaints. You can only build it with bricks. The crate is not going to fix itself. The weather is not going to change. The only variable is you. Stand up. Are you ready to stop the noise and start the work? Type "I am building" in the comments below. Subscribe to build a stronger mind. See you at the top.